Islamic rights for both Muslims and non-Muslims are deeply rooted in the teachings of the Quran and the practices of the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH. These rights are a fundamental aspect of Islamic ethics and are designed to ensure justice, fairness, and compassion in every sphere of life. The concept of rights in Islam is based on the belief that every individual, regardless of their religion, race, or social status, has inherent dignity and deserves to be treated with respect. For Muslims, the concept of rights begins with the most fundamental right, the right to worship and submit to Allah alone. This right encompasses the freedom to practice Islam without coercion or interference. It is not merely about performing religious rituals, but it extends to every aspect of a Muslim's life, such as their right to education, health, property, and a good standard of living. In Islam, the right to seek knowledge is of paramount importance. Both men and women are encouraged to pursue education and improve themselves intellectually and morally. The Islamic State, as conceived in the traditional view, is responsible for ensuring that the conditions for education, healthcare, and security are available to all citizens. One of the key principles in Islam is the right to justice. Muslims are obligated to uphold justice in all dealings, whether in business, social interactions, or legal matters. This includes the protection of the weak, the oppressed, and the vulnerable. In the family, Islam provides detailed guidelines on the rights and responsibilities of each member. The rights of women, children, parents, and even the elderly are given special attention, with an emphasis on treating each person with kindness, respect, and dignity. For example, a woman in Islam has the right to own property, work, and participate in social, economic, and political activities. She also has the right to education and to make independent decisions regarding her personal and financial matters. Similarly, Islam emphasizes the right to protection from harm. This includes physical harm, but also emotional and psychological harm. Every Muslim is encouraged to live in a manner that promotes the well-being of others, which includes ensuring the safety and security of their neighbors and community members. Furthermore, Muslims are reminded that they should not engage in backbiting, slander, or any action that would unjustly harm another person's reputation or dignity. In the realm of economic rights, Islam places a strong emphasis on fairness and equity in transactions. The rights of individuals to own property and engage in business are guaranteed, provided that these transactions are carried out in a manner that is just and ethical. Interest, riba, is prohibited in Islam as it is seen as a means of exploitation. The concept of zakat, or almsgiving, is central to the Islamic approach to wealth distribution, ensuring that those who are less fortunate are supported by those who are more prosperous. Charity is not only encouraged, but is considered an essential aspect of a Muslim's duty toward society. The rights of non-Muslims in Islamic society are also an important aspect of Islamic teachings. Islam, through its principles of tolerance and justice, recognizes the rights of non-Muslims to live peacefully and practice their own religion. The Quran repeatedly emphasizes the importance of peaceful coexistence and respect for others. Non-Muslims living in an Islamic state, known as dhimmis, are granted protection, security, and the right to practice their faith. They are not required to adhere to Islamic practices, such as prayer or fasting, but are expected to respect the laws and norms of the Islamic State. In addition, the protection of non-Muslim places of worship, such as churches, synagogues, and temples, is an essential part of Islamic governance. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, himself made treaties and agreements with non-Muslim communities, ensuring their rights to practice their faith freely and safely. The Islamic tradition of tolerance is also evident in the treatment of non-Muslim citizens, who are granted rights to property, fair treatment in courts, and protection from harm. The state is expected to ensure that non-Muslims are not oppressed or persecuted for their beliefs. One of the most significant rights granted to non-Muslims in Islamic society is the right to equality before the law. Muslims are not given preferential treatment in legal matters. The courts are obligated to dispense justice impartially, regardless of the individual's faith. This is a fundamental aspect of Islamic teachings, which emphasize the importance of fairness and equity in all aspects of life. Non-Muslims are also entitled to participate in civic life, including holding positions of responsibility in the government, provided they adhere to the laws of the land. The concept of freedom of religion is another important aspect of Islamic rights. While Muslims are encouraged to invite others to Islam, they are prohibited from forcing anyone to embrace the faith. The Quran explicitly states that there is no compulsion in religion. This freedom extends not only to non-Muslims living in Muslim-majority societies, but also to Muslims living in non-Muslim-majority societies, where they should be allowed to practice their faith without fear of persecution or discrimination. In social and economic terms, the rights of non-Muslims in an Islamic society are not restricted to basic protections. They also include a right to participate in economic activities, education, and other facets of public life. Non-Muslims are allowed to engage in business, own property, and receive education just as Muslims do. The welfare of non-Muslims is a concern to the Islamic community, and they are entitled to receive assistance in times of need, whether through charity or other social welfare mechanisms. Islamic teachings on the treatment of both Muslims and non-Muslims reflect a deep commitment to justice, equality, and compassion. The rights granted to both groups aim to establish a society based on mutual respect, cooperation, and a sense of shared responsibility for the well-being of all members of the community. Whether for Muslims or non-Muslims, Islam seeks to create a society where individuals can live in peace, security, and prosperity while upholding the values of justice, dignity, and respect for all human beings. Furthermore, Islam stresses the importance of social harmony and mutual respect among its people. The right to live in peace is one that is cherished, and Islam teaches its followers to maintain strong ties of brotherhood and sisterhood with others. It is common for Muslims to engage in acts of kindness and compassion, not just within their own communities, but towards all people, regardless of their faith. This extends to everyday interactions such as offering a smile, being honest, treating others with respect, and helping those in need. The role of forgiveness in Islam is also integral to the rights of individuals. Muslims are encouraged to forgive the wrongs committed by others and to seek reconciliation, especially when there are misunderstandings or conflicts. This forgiveness is not just seen as a personal virtue, but as a social necessity to maintain peaceful relationships within a diverse society. Islam emphasizes that true peace is achieved not only through justice, but also through mercy and forgiveness. The Quran speaks of the importance of letting go of grudges and promoting peace in society, even in the face of wrongs. Moreover, the right to privacy is another key aspect of Islamic rights. Islam places significant value on protecting an individual's privacy, and actions such as gossiping, eavesdropping, or exposing the personal lives of others without their consent are prohibited. This principle is rooted in the respect for a person's dignity, and Islam teaches that no one should intrude into the private matters of others without just cause. It extends to a person's family, property, and personal affairs, promoting an environment where individuals can live with a sense of security and safety. Islam also encourages a balanced approach to the environment and nature, considering it part of the rights of both humans and non-humans alike. The right to a clean and sustainable environment is acknowledged in Islamic teachings, with an emphasis on the responsible use of resources and protection of nature. Wasting resources, overexploitation, and harm to the environment are considered unjust, and Muslims are urged to preserve the earth for future generations. This environmental stewardship is not only for the benefit of Muslims, but also for the entire global community, including non-Muslims, as Islam views all life on earth as interconnected. In terms of the right to security, the Muslim community is encouraged to protect both Muslims and non-Muslims from any form of harm or oppression. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, is known to have said that the best of people are those who are most beneficial to others, highlighting the importance of working for the common good. Islamic law mandates the protection of all citizens, and special emphasis is placed on ensuring the safety of individuals in times of war, conflict, or natural disasters. Non-Muslim minorities in Islamic states have historically been granted safe havens and protection from external threats, as long as they respect the laws of the land. Another significant area in which Islam addresses rights is in the realm of marriage and family. The rights within marriage are central to Islamic teachings, with both spouses having defined rights and responsibilities. A woman's right to consent to marriage, her right to financial support, and a right to a fair and just relationship are clearly articulated in Islamic texts. Similarly, men are also given rights in the marriage relationship, such as a right to companionship and respect. In terms of children, Islam places great importance on their upbringing, providing them with a right to a nurturing environment, education, and care. The relationship between parent and children is one of mutual respect, with both parties being entitled to each other's care and kindness. In the public sphere, Muslims and non-Muslims alike are encouraged to uphold moral and ethical standards, contributing positively to society. The right to participate in public discourse, to express opinions, and to challenge injustices is also an integral part of Islamic teachings. The Islamic tradition of consultation, shura, reflects the principle that every member of society should have a voice in matters affecting the community. Though shura traditionally implies consultation within the Muslim community, the broader Islamic framework encourages dialogue and engagement across communities, including with non-Muslims. The aim is to promote collective well-being and prevent oppression or marginalization. Islam's comprehensive system of rights extends beyond individual liberties and touches on the collective rights of society. The obligation to provide for the welfare of others, including the poor, the sick, the orphaned, and the elderly, is emphasized in Islam. The wealthier members of society are expected to share their resources through zakat, charity, and other forms of voluntary giving, which ensure that no one is left behind in society. This creates a more equitable and compassionate community, where individuals look out for one another's needs. The rights of non-Muslims, in particular, have been the subject of much discussion and clarification in Islamic scholarship. While Islamic governance historically provided protections and rights for non-Muslim communities, there have been variations in how these principles have been applied across different times and places. In practice, many Muslim-majority countries today continue to uphold the rights of non-Muslims in terms of religious freedom, legal rights, and participation in society, though there may be challenges in some regions. Modern Islamic scholarship often seeks to reaffirm the importance of these rights and advocate for the fair and equal treatment of non-Muslims in accordance with the spirit of Islam. In conclusion, the rights granted to Muslims and non-Muslims under Islamic teachings are designed to foster just, equitable, and compassionate society. Islam advocates for the fair treatment of all people, ensuring that each individual has access to the basic necessities of life, the freedom to practice their religion, and the protection of their dignity and rights. The principles of justice, respect, and tolerance that underpin Islamic rights promote peaceful coexistence and mutual cooperation between Muslims and non-Muslims. Through its teachings, Islam provides a framework for society in which everyone can live in dignity, contributing to the common good and upholding the values of humanity. As we continue to explore the broader implications of Islamic rights, it becomes clear that Islam also emphasizes the importance of social responsibility and communal well-being. One of the core principles in Islamic thought is the concept of Ummah, or the global community of Muslims, which stresses a collective responsibility for the welfare of all individuals within society, both Muslim and non-Muslim. While individual rights are important, Islam places a strong emphasis on ensuring that everyone has access to the support and care they need. This sense of communal responsibility leads to an ethos of charity, cooperation, and collective action to address societal challenges, from poverty to injustice. In Islamic teachings, the right to work and earn a livelihood is seen as an essential component of personal dignity. Everyone is entitled to seek honest work, and it is considered the duty of society to ensure that no one is deprived of the opportunity to work. Additionally, Islam encourages people to engage in fair, ethical business practices. There is a strong prohibition against exploitation, fraud, and deceit, and business dealings must be based on trust, honesty, and respect for others. The right to work also extends to the right to fair compensation, with workers being entitled to a just wage for their labor. This ensures that individuals can support themselves and their families with dignity and integrity. Islamic law also protects the right to travel, with a recognition that people should be able to move freely within their own country and across borders, provided they follow the laws of the land. There is a strong tradition of hospitality and support for travelers, especially those in need. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, emphasized the importance of welcoming and assisting guests, regardless of their background or religion. This hospitality extends to the broader concept of promoting peace and understanding between different communities, whether Muslims or non-Muslims. In Islamic societies, the rights of travelers, whether they are fellow Muslims or people of other faiths, are respected and their safety and security are ensured. Importantly, the concept of justice in Islam is not limited to interpersonal rights, but extends to the political and judicial spheres. Islam advocates for a fair and transparent legal system, where the rule of law is upheld without bias or favoritism. The principle of ADL, justice, is a core value in Islam, and it applies to all individuals equally, regardless of their status, wealth, or religion. In matters of governance, Islam calls for rulers and authorities to act justly and to ensure that no one is above the law. Whether it is in the context of disputes, criminal justice, or civil matters, the right to a fair trial, the right to representation, and the right to justice are fundamental to the Islamic system. It is prohibited for anyone to engage in acts of corruption, bribery, or any practices that would undermine justice. A particularly noteworthy aspect of Islamic justice is the emphasis on protection of the most vulnerable members of society. Islam teaches that those who are marginalized, whether they are women, children, or the elderly, must be given special care and protection. The right protection from harm, whether physical, psychological, or emotional, is granted to all individuals, and society is tasked with ensuring that these vulnerable groups are shielded from any form of abuse or exploitation. For instance, Islam has specific provisions regarding the protection of orphans, ensuring that their rights are safeguarded and that they are cared for by responsible guardians. Moreover, the preservation of human dignity is paramount in Islam. Every person, regardless of their religion or background, has an inherent worth that must be respected. Islam condemns any action or behavior that undermines human dignity, such as oppression, violence, or degradation. The right to personal dignity and honor is enshrined in Islamic teachings, and it is considered a violation to harm or slander others in any way. While the framework of Islamic rights is often associated with traditional Islamic governance, the principles themselves have universal appeal and are relevant to contemporary discussions on human rights. Many of the values enshrined in Islam, such as justice, equality, and freedom, are shared by modern human rights standards. Islam's emphasis on protecting the rights of individuals and promoting the common good provides a comprehensive model for creating a just and ethical society. The dialogue between Islamic teachings and international human rights continues to evolve. Scholars and activists in the Muslim world often engage in discussions about how Islamic principles can be harmonized with or complement global human rights standards. There is a recognition that Islamic rights are not limited to religious observances but extend to a broader social, economic, and political framework. This interaction between Islam and contemporary human rights discourse fosters a deeper understanding of how Islamic values can contribute to global efforts for peace, equality, and social justice. Furthermore, Islam's principles of mercy and forgiveness often play a key role in conflict resolution. While justice is an essential aspect of Islamic teachings, mercy, rahmah, is equally important. The right to mercy is a cornerstone of Islamic morality, where both individuals and societies are encouraged to act with kindness and compassion, especially in situations where individuals seek reconciliation or forgiveness for past wrongs. Islam's promotion of peace and forgiveness is a powerful tool in healing wounds, mending broken relationships, and fostering social harmony. In conclusion, the concept of rights in Islam is a multidimensional framework that encompasses individual liberties, social responsibilities, and collective well-being. It extends beyond the Muslim community and provides a basis for justice, fairness, and compassion for all people, whether Muslim or non-Muslim. Islamic rights are rooted in the principles of equality, justice, dignity, and mercy, all of which are essential to creating a harmonious and just society. As such, the Islamic model of rights is not just a religious doctrine but a universal approach to building a society that values the rights of all its members, promotes peaceful coexistence, and ensures that everyone, regardless of their background, can live with dignity, security, and respect. As we delve further into the discussion of Islamic rights, it is crucial to acknowledge the broader implications of these teachings on global peace and interfaith relations. In today's interconnected world, the principles of justice, equality, and respect for human dignity, as outlined in Islamic teachings, offer an important framework for dialogue and cooperation between different cultures and religious groups. Islam's emphasis on mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and cooperation among people of diverse beliefs is particularly relevant in fostering an atmosphere of understanding and tolerance in contemporary society. One key aspect of Islamic teachings is a promotion of tolerance toward people of all faiths. The Quran calls for peaceful engagement with non-Muslims and underscores the principle of not forcing anyone into accepting Islam. The verse, "Let there be no compulsion in religion," Quran 2:256, emphasizes that every individual has a right to choose their faith freely. This establishes an important foundation for religious pluralism, wherein the rights of individuals to practice their faith without fear of persecution are protected. As a result, Muslim-majority societies are encouraged to create inclusive environments where non-Muslims can live and practice their religion in peace, and where dialogue and respect between various religious groups can flourish. Moreover, the Islamic framework for rights highlights the importance of addressing social injustices and systemic inequality, whether based on race, gender, or socioeconomic status. Islam calls for the protection of the most vulnerable in society, including the marginalized, the poor, and the oppressed. The concept of social justice in Islam demands that individuals and communities work towards alleviating poverty, ensuring access to education and healthcare, and creating opportunities for all people to thrive. In doing so, Islam teaches that society should not be built on exploitation or oppression, but rather on fairness, equity, and mutual assistance. This holistic approach to human rights in Islam also extends to issues of healthcare and the right to a healthy life. Islam emphasizes the importance of physical and mental well-being, and it is considered a religious duty to seek medical treatment when necessary. Islamic teachings also advocate for the availability of healthcare for all people, regardless of their socioeconomic status or religious beliefs. There is a strong moral imperative to ensure that no one is denied the medical attention they need, and the Muslim community is encouraged to support healthcare initiatives that benefit society at large. The right to freedom of expression is another important aspect of Islamic teachings, though it is nuanced by the principles of respect, truthfulness, and responsibility. Islam encourages open dialogue and the exchange of ideas, particularly when it comes to matters of justice and the public good. However, this freedom of expression is bounded by ethical considerations, such as refraining from harmful speech, slander, or spreading falsehoods. The Quran instruct believers to speak the truth and to avoid spreading false rumors or engaging in defamatory behavior. The right to speak freely is recognized, but it is always tempered with a sense of accountability to ensure that one's words do not harm others or society as a whole. Similarly, the right to privacy in Islam is emphasized not just in relation to individuals, but also to families and communities. Islam teaches that people should not invade the personal space of others or interfere with their private lives. This extends to all forms of surveillance, gossip, and invasion of privacy, which are strongly discouraged. The preservation of a person's reputation and dignity is paramount in Islam, and any action that compromises this right is prohibited. The Islamic concept of ummah also places great importance on community responsibility and collective well-being. Muslims are urged to contribute to the welfare of society not just through financial support, but also through volunteering, offering services, and playing an active role in addressing communal issues. The collective responsibility to ensure that every member of society is treated with dignity and respect extends to providing for the needs of others, particularly the vulnerable. The obligation of zakat, almsgiving, a mandatory act of charity for Muslims, is one of the key mechanisms to ensure wealth distribution and to support those in need, including non-Muslims. In many Islamic societies, the preservation of family is a central focus. Family is viewed as a foundation of social stability and moral responsibility, and Islam gives significant rights to each family member. Parents have a right to be respected and cared for by their children, while children have a right to receive love, guidance, and education. Marriage in Islam is based on mutual rights and responsibilities, with both spouses entitled to respect, fairness, and dignity. Islam emphasizes that husbands and wives are partners in building a harmonious family life and a prosperous society. This understanding of the family as a pillar of society contributes to the broader social fabric, promoting healthy relationships and strong communities. In addition to these principles, Islam provides a robust system for dealing with legal matters, including criminal justice, family law, and contract law. Islamic law, Sharia, is designed to ensure that justice is served fairly and impartially, upholding the rights of individuals, whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim. For instance, in the case of criminal justice, Islam guarantees a right to a fair trial and prohibits arbitrary punishment. Accused individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty, and they are entitled to defense and representation in court. Punishments are prescribed in a manner that seeks to rehabilitate offenders and prevent harm to society, with the goal of maintaining peace and security for all people. The approach to criminal justice in Islam is rooted in the principle of restorative justice, which focuses on healing and reconciliation rather than retribution. In many cases, victims and offenders have the opportunity to come together, seek forgiveness, and repair the harm done, fostering a sense of personal accountability and community healing. This restorative approach not only benefits the individuals involved, but also strengthens the fabric of society as a whole. In the realm of education, Islam places a high value on the pursuit of knowledge. The right to education is not limited to religious education, but extends to all areas of knowledge. Islam encourages the acquisition of both religious and secular knowledge, and both men and women are urged to seek education throughout their lives. The famous saying of the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, "Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim," underscores the significance of learning in Islam. Education is seen as a means to empower individuals, enhance their intellectual and moral development, and contribute to the welfare of society. Finally, the global implications of Islamic rights extend to international relations, where the principles of justice, peace, and mutual respect can contribute to global efforts for cooperation and understanding. In a world increasingly characterized by global challenges, such as conflicts, environmental degradation, and human rights violations, Islamic teachings offer valuable guidance on how to approach these issues with fairness, compassion, and a commitment to the common good. Through interfaith dialogue, shared values, and collaboration, Muslims can work with others to build a more just, peaceful, and sustainable world. In conclusion, the rights outlined in Islam are not merely theoretical or confined to the Muslim community, but are part of a broader vision for a just, equitable, and compassionate society. Whether applied to Muslims or non-Muslims, these rights ensure that every individual is treated with respect and dignity, with a clear commitment to social responsibility, justice, and mutual well-being. By adhering to the principles of justice, mercy, equality, and respect for human dignity, Islamic teachings offer a timeless framework for building harmonious societies, fostering peace, and promoting the common good for all people, regardless of their faith or background.